7 things you should quietly remove from your life. Sometimes, without even realizing it, we end up carrying too much. Worries that stick with us, promises we made that feel heavy now, relationships that used to fit but now just drain us. It all adds up and it starts to weigh us down. And that weight, it's not just an idea. You feel it physically, don't you? In your body, in how tired you feel, maybe in the way you face the day. We often chase happiness by trying to add more to our lives. But what if true lightness, that feeling of being really yourself, comes from letting things go instead? What if it's about gently setting down the things that hold you back, drain your energy, or simply don't make sense for you anymore? Letting go sounds easy, but we know it's often hard, especially when strong feelings, old memories, or people we love are tied to these burdens. That's what we're looking at today. 7 things you might be able to quietly remove from your life. Quietly, without big explanations, without feeling guilty. Think of them as small steps toward feeling lighter, more at peace, and living a life that truly feels like your own. If you're new here, welcome. I really encourage you to stay until the end, because what you hear might be exactly the reminder you need right now to make some space. Space in your mind, your heart, and just in your life. Make sure to stay till the end of the video, where we will make a step-by-step plan on how to apply this advice on your own life. We put a lot of hours into this animated video, so if you want to support our new channel, please like this video, subscribe, and push the notification bell so you don't miss our new videos. Let's begin. Number 1. Other people's problems. Have you ever felt like someone else's troubles started living inside your own head? Maybe it's a child going through a hard time, a friend stuck in a loop, or even family arguments that pull you in. When you care about someone, you naturally want to help, to be there. But sometimes that caring turns into carrying their load until it starts to steal your peace, the peace you worked so hard to find. Many of us do this without thinking. We tell ourselves it's our duty, it's what love looks like. But there's a big difference between walking beside someone through their storm and trying to steer their ship for them. When you cross that line, you often pay with your own calm and energy. Think about Helen. She was always the family fixer. When her daughter faced a tough divorce, Helen jumped in with everything she had. Her time, her savings, even her own health suffered. She wanted to be a safe harbor. But months later, exhausted, her daughter gently told her, "Mom, sometimes when you try so hard to fix things, it makes me feel like you don't think I can handle my own life." That hit Helen hard. In her deep desire to protect, she realized she'd accidentally taken away some of her daughter's own strength, and she'd forgotten that she deserved to take care of herself too. Helen learned that loving someone doesn't mean carrying their struggles for them. Sometimes the biggest act of love is trusting them to find their own way, while you stand nearby, ready to listen, but not taking over. The old thinkers remind us, everyone has their own path and lessons. You can't live life for others. You can only live your own with care, and that means respecting their journey, even when it hurts to watch. Imagine your life if you gently set down the burdens that aren't truly yours to carry. You might feel a bit guilty at first. That's normal. We're often taught love means endless sacrifice. But true support doesn't mean running yourself empty. It means being present without taking control. It means caring deeply without losing your own peace. Because you can only truly help others when you yourself are standing on solid ground. Take care of yourself first. Only then can you offer your best to others. Number 2. The fear of saying no. How often have you heard yourself saying yes when your whole body was screaming no? Maybe it was agreeing to help when you were already overloaded, going to an event you dreaded, or taking on a task that felt like too much. You said yes because it felt easier than dealing with potential disappointment or awkwardness. But what did that yes really cost you? Each time you say yes when you mean no, you chip away at your own truth. This fear, the fear of letting someone down, of seeming selfish, of losing their affection if you say no, keeps so many of us trapped. We end up living by other people's expectations instead of our own needs. A wise person once said, "True happiness comes from within." That means being honest with yourself first, and sometimes that honesty sounds like a simple, quiet no. Consider Peter. He'd always been the go-to guy, especially for his family. Need help? Peter's there. Need money? Peter finds a way, even if it strained him. One weekend, his grandson asked for help moving heavy furniture. Peter said yes, even though his back had been bothering him. He ended up laid up for weeks, unable to move much. That quiet time forced him to think. His inability to say no wasn't just hurting him. It had taught everyone around him that his time and energy were always available. Changing wasn't easy. The first time he gently said, "I'm sorry, I can't manage that right now." His stomach was in knots. He worried they'd think he didn't care. But something shifted. After the initial surprise, his family started respecting his limits more. Peter learned that real connection isn't built on always saying yes. It's built on honesty about what you truly can and want to give. Learning to say no isn't selfish, it's clear. And often, being clear is the kindest thing you can do. It gives the other person a chance to find another solution, and it shows them that your energy matters. Think about it. Every time you say yes out of obligation, you're saying no to something else. Maybe rest, maybe time for things you care about. Imagine saying no without that heavy feeling of guilt. It might feel strange at first, but the people who truly care about you will understand. They value you, not just what you can do for them. Your honesty actually makes the relationship stronger. Remember, saying no when you need to is how you protect your own peace, your time, and your energy. Nobody else can do that for you. Make sure that when you say yes to others, you aren't saying no to yourself. Did you know that if you are currently watching this video, you are probably a visual learner? Before we get into the next part, wouldn't it be better if you had an app specially designed for visual learners like you? That's exactly what BookWatch offers. We have animated book summaries of the best non-fiction and Stoicism books like The Daily Stoic, The Obstacle is the Way, and many more. You can watch animated videos like the one you are currently watching and also ask our AI how to specifically apply each book to your life. Check out the BookWatch app in the first link in the description below. Now, let's continue. Number 3. Longing too much for who you used to be. Do you ever find yourself drifting back in time, thinking about how things were years ago? Maybe you remember being physically stronger, busier, or feeling like you had a clearer role. Looking back can feel cozy, like a warm blanket when today feels uncertain. But if you spend too much time looking in the rearview mirror, you miss the view right in front of you. This longing for the past, for the person you once were, can become a trap. When you hold up an old, perhaps idealized version of yourself, you start comparing it to who you are now. And that comparison is rarely kind. I used to be able to do that, you might think, but now I can't. I felt more useful then. I looked better then. But is it really fair to judge your worth today based only on yesterday? Someone wise once said that worrying about something before it happens, or grieving something long after it's gone, means you suffer more than you need to. When we cling tightly to the past, we miss the chance to find joy in what we have now. Today can't compete with a memory polished smooth over time. Memory often forgets the struggles and just keeps the highlights. Maybe you don't have the same physical energy today, but perhaps you have wisdom you didn't have back then. Maybe your life isn't packed with the same demands, but now you have precious time. Time to think, to learn, to simply be. The present might feel different, maybe even uncomfortable sometimes, but it's real. It's where life is actually happening. Instead of looking back with sadness, what if you looked around with curiosity? Not trying to get back what's gone, but open to discovering what's here now and what's still possible. Life always has something to offer, but you have to be present to receive it. How do you stop clinging? Not by forgetting the past, but by being grateful for it. Be thankful for who you were, what you learned, the journey you took. But then, gently turn your attention back to today. Your life didn't stop back then. What you have now, this moment, is also valuable. Every stage of life has its own unique gifts. Stop looking back as if the best is over. You are still here. There are still things to experience, laughs to share, peace to cultivate. Who you are now, with all you've lived through and learned, is incredibly valuable. Celebrate that person. Don't compare them. Be present for your life today. Number 4. Needing your children to make you feel okay. There often comes a point when our children aren't little anymore. They grow up, make their own choices, build their own lives. Sometimes those lives take them far away, or they just don't connect in the way we expected or hoped for. It can be hard when that shift happens, and it's easy to fall into a quiet trap, needing them, their attention, their calls, their approval to feel happy or validated yourself. It's completely natural to want to feel important in your children's lives. But when that desire turns into a constant need or expectation, needing them to call a certain amount, needing them to involve you in specific ways, the relationship can feel heavy, often for both sides. It's usually not because they are uncaring, but because life naturally moves forward. And importantly, your life has its own path too, separate from theirs. Someone once said that nothing outside of you has power over your feelings unless you give it that power. When your happiness rides on whether your kids call today or how much time they spend with you, you're handing over your peace of mind. This doesn't mean you love them less or that your connection isn't vital. It just means your sense of self-worth can't be completely tied to their actions or attention levels. This need isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's a subtle comment when they haven't called. Well, I guess you've been busy. A hint of guilt disguised as concern, or just that sinking feeling inside when you feel distant from them. But here's the truth. No matter how much you wish they could fill that space, only you can truly tend to your own happiness. When you start letting go of the expectation that your children must meet all your emotional needs, something amazing happens. You start finding joy and purpose in other places, maybe in hobbies you set aside, new friendships, learning something new, or simply enjoying your own company. Your love for them doesn't shrink, it just becomes less demanding. You can love them with your whole heart while freeing them and yourself from the burden of needing them to be the main source of your happiness. A healthy relationship often grows best when both people have space to breathe, you living your life fully, and them building theirs without feeling constantly guilty or responsible for your emotional state. Think about it. How might your life feel if you stopped waiting for something from your children that only you can give yourself? You might find that this freedom actually brings you closer in a more relaxed, genuine way. Love them freely, without the strings of expectation. Your peace depends on it, and often, so does the health of the relationship you treasure. Number 5. Things that weigh more in emotion than usefulness. Think about the things in your home. Not just the useful stuff, but the objects tucked away in closets, drawers, or even sitting on shelves. How many of those things do you keep, not because you love them or use them, but because letting them go feels wrong? Like you'd be betraying a memory or the person who gave it to you? I remember helping an older friend sort through boxes. He held up a little china dog, dusty and chipped. "This was my mother's," he said softly. "I've kept it for 40 years. But you know what? I never really liked it. It just feels like I should keep it." That really stuck with me. How many things do we keep out of a sense of should? We hang on to things, old gifts, inherited items, souvenirs from a life stage that's passed, because we've tied an emotion or a memory to the object itself. Maybe it's a set of dishes you never use from a relative, or clothes that no longer fit but remind you of a happier time. Keeping them feels like holding on to the past. But here's something to consider. The memory isn't in the object. The memory, the love, the experience that lives inside you. Holding on to an object you don't need or enjoy often doesn't honor the memory. It just adds clutter to your space and maybe even a little weight to your mind every time you see it. It's like carrying around luggage you no longer need for the trip you're on now. Letting go of these emotionally heavy objects isn't about erasing the past. It's about acknowledging that the meaning is within you, not the thing. When my friend finally decided to let go of that china dog, he said he felt surprisingly lighter. He hadn't lost the memory of his mother. He'd just freed himself from an object that didn't bring him joy. Look around your space. Is there anything you're keeping purely out of guilt or obligation? Ask yourself gently, does this truly add value to my life today? Or is it just taking up space? Physical space, mental space, emotional space. Sometimes letting go of a small, unused object can feel like opening a window and letting fresh air into your life. It's not about getting rid of everything precious, but about making conscious choices to keep what truly matters and feels good now. Your space, like your mind, deserves to feel clear and peaceful. Number 6, relationships that take more than they give. As we journey through life, something often shifts in how we view relationships. When we're younger, having lots of friends might feel important. But over time, many of us realize that the quality of our connections matters far more than the quantity. We start to notice that while some relationships lift us up, others consistently leave us feeling drained. This isn't always about relationships being terrible or toxic. Sometimes it's more subtle. Maybe it's a friend who only seems to call when they need something, but is rarely there for you. Or perhaps it's someone in your life who, maybe without meaning to, often criticizes you, makes you doubt yourself, or just brings a lot of negativity whenever you interact. The problem is, when you keep pouring your energy into these draining connections, you carry an invisible weight. It uses up your limited time and emotional energy, leaving less for the people and activities that actually nourish you. It can even start to affect how you feel about yourself. The emotional environment we live in shapes us, whether we realize it or not. Someone wise said the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. If you allow draining connections to take up too much space, you're not just losing your peace, you're potentially dimming your own light. Think of your energy like a pitcher of water. You only have so much to pour each day. Do you want to keep emptying it into cups that seem to have holes in the bottom? The good news is, you don't always need to make a dramatic exit. Sometimes it's simply about adjusting the dynamic. Setting quiet, firm boundaries can make a world of difference. Maybe you limit the time you spend with that person. Maybe you consciously decide not to get drawn into their usual complaints or dramas. You can still care about someone, but choose to protect your own peace by keeping a healthier emotional distance. You don't have to be available every time. You get to choose how and when you engage. It's also so important to actively nurture the relationships that do feel good. The people who listen without judgment, who cheer for you, who you feel genuinely comfortable and energized around. Even just 1 or 2 such connections can make a huge difference to your well-being. Choose carefully who you give your precious time and energy to. Sometimes, letting go of draining connections might lead to more quiet time, more solitude. That can feel scary at first, but being alone isn't the same as being lonely. Solitude can be a chance to recharge, to reconnect with yourself. From that place of strength, you can see more clearly which relationships truly deserve your energy. Ask yourself, who leaves me feeling lighter, happier, more myself? And who leaves me feeling heavy, anxious, or depleted? Being honest with yourself about the answers is a crucial step toward protecting your peace. Taking care of your emotional energy isn't selfish, it's essential. Number 7, feeling like you always need to explain yourself. One of the heaviest, often invisible burdens we carry is the constant feeling that we need to explain ourselves to others, justifying our choices, our feelings, even how we choose to spend our quiet time. Maybe you feel you have to give a detailed reason why you'd rather stay home tonight, or why you're spending money on something that brings you joy instead of what others think is practical. Where does this urge to explain come from? Often it's about wanting to be understood, trying to avoid conflict, or simply keeping the peace. But when justifying yourself becomes a habit, you start living based on whether others will approve. You start needing their okay to feel okay about your own life, and that slowly takes away your freedom. A wise thinker suggested that the real goal of life is to become who you truly are. But you can't fully do that if you feel you owe everyone an explanation for your choices. You don't have to justify needing time alone. You don't have to justify distancing yourself from things that drain you. You don't have to justify prioritizing your own well-being. Remember this: your life is yours. Only you walk in your shoes. Only you know the full story behind your choices. Others might look from the outside and judge, but they aren't living your day, feeling your feelings, or facing your unique challenges. Trying to explain everything rarely makes them understand better. More often, it just drains your energy and reinforces the idea that their opinion holds power over your decisions. Someone once wrote that if you constantly worry about what others think, you become their prisoner. It's true. When you're always explaining, you let other people's potential judgments control your inner peace. You give their opinions more weight than your own inner knowing. This doesn't mean being rude or dismissive. You can be kind, you can be considerate, but you can also simply state your need or decision calmly, without a long defense. This is what works for me right now. Or, I need some quiet time. That's it. That's enough. It's a form of respect, for yourself and ultimately for others too, as it trusts them to handle your truth. Think about deciding to try something new, maybe something others find unusual for your age, like learning an instrument or taking up painting. You might get questions like, "Why would you do that now?" The key is realizing you don't owe them a big explanation. Your reason can be simple: because I want to, because it makes me happy. When you let go of the need to justify, you reclaim so much energy and freedom. You start making choices from a place of what feels right for you, not what will sound best to others. Yes, some people might not understand, but you aren't here to be understood by everyone. You are here to live your life with peace and integrity. Next time you feel that pressure to explain yourself, pause. Take a breath. Remind yourself, you don't owe anyone a defense of your life. Your choices are yours. Your feelings are valid. Your reasons are enough. Letting go of this need is like taking off a heavy coat you didn't even realize you were wearing. It feels like freedom. It feels like coming home to yourself. Part 8. Step-by-step plan. So, we've talked today about these quiet weights we often carry. The old habits, the heavy feelings, the things and connections that drain us more than they fill us up. Knowing about them is the first step, but the real peace comes when we start to gently set them down. It might feel like a big task, but it doesn't have to be. Think of it like tending a little garden inside yourself. Here's a simple way to begin making space, step by step. Step 1. Just notice. For the next few days, try to gently notice what feels heavy in your life. Don't judge yourself, just observe. Is it a certain conversation that leaves you tired? A yes you wish you hadn't said? An old object gathering dust? A worry about someone else's choices? Just become aware of where your energy seems to leak away. Step 2. Pick one small thing. Don't try to change everything at once. That's overwhelming. Just choose one small area to start with. Maybe it's deciding not to jump into fixing a friend's problem this week. Maybe it's saying, "Let me think about it," instead of an immediate yes. Maybe it's putting one single object you feel meh about into a donation box. Keep it really small and manageable. Step 3. Act quietly. Remember, you don't need to announce your changes or explain yourself deeply. Just take that one small, quiet action. Say that gentle no. Let go of that object. Step back slightly from the drama. Do it for you, without needing anyone else's permission or understanding. Step 4. Check in with yourself. After you take that small step, pause for a moment. How does it feel? Maybe a little lighter. Maybe a bit unfamiliar. Maybe even a tiny bit scary. But okay. Just notice the feeling. This helps you see that letting go, even in small ways, can bring relief. Step 5. Be patient and repeat. This isn't about perfection. It's a practice, like learning anything new. Some days will be easier than others. Just keep coming back to it. When you feel ready, pick another small thing. Little by little, one quiet choice at a time, you start to clear out the clutter and let more light in. Remember, the goal isn't to become someone totally different overnight. It's simply to create more space in your life. Space for peace, space for joy, space to breathe, space to just be you, without all the extra weight. You have the power to make these gentle shifts. Start small, be kind to yourself, and trust the process. You deserve to feel lighter. If you like this video and you want to support our new channel, please like this video, subscribe, and push the notification bell so you don't miss our new videos. Also, check out this recommended video where we analyze 7 signs your life is about to change for the better. Click it here right now to watch it.